All right, let's talk about the one area of DevOps that is both absolutely critical and somehow the most overlooked: networking. It's like the invisible plumbing of our entire digital world. And understanding it, it's not just another skill, it's the key to becoming a seriously effective engineer.
Let's just start right here, because this quote cuts straight to the heart of it. This isn't some abstract theory. We're talking about 3 a.m. The pager goes off, your application is down, and the pressure is on. In those moments, knowing your networking isn't a nice-to-have. No way. It is your single most powerful tool for finding the problem and fixing it fast.
Look, I get it. It's a huge topic, and honestly, it can feel pretty overwhelming. But here's the good news. You don't need to become a certified network engineer overnight. Not at all. You just need a rock-solid grasp of the fundamentals, and that's exactly what we're going to build, right now. A clear, practical foundation.
Okay, let's dive in. We call networking the unseen backbone for a reason. It's this foundational layer that holds up literally everything we build and manage in DevOps, even when we don't actively think about it.
Just think about it for a sec. All those cloud servers you spin up on AWS or Azure, they're all talking over a network. The dozens, maybe hundreds of containers running in your Kubernetes cluster, they're all communicating through a virtual network. Even your CI/CD pipeline pulling code from GitHub, all of it, every single action, is riding on the network. It's the connective tissue for the whole shebang.
So to really get a handle on this backbone, we just need to focus on 4 essential building blocks. Think of them as the core 4 of networking. Seriously, if you can wrap your head around these 4 concepts, you'll be able to understand and debug almost any connection issue you'll ever run into.
First up, the IP address. It's simple, really. Every single device on a network, from a huge server down to your phone, needs a unique address so data knows exactly where to go. The main thing to remember here is that there are 2 flavors: public IPs, which face the open internet, and private IPs, which are used inside your secure internal networks.
Next up, DNS. See, we humans are great with names, right? Like Google.com. But computers, they only care about numbers, those IP addresses we just talked about. DNS is basically the internet's giant phone book, translating the name you type into the right number. And here's why it's so critical. When DNS fails, your application can be perfectly healthy, but to the rest of the world, it has literally just vanished. It's so often the first domino to fall in a big outage.
This one builds right on top of the IP address. If the IP gets you to the right building, the port number gets you to the right apartment inside that building. Think about it. A single server is running tons of different applications: a web server, a database, an SSH service. The port number is what tells the incoming data exactly which application to talk to.
And finally, we have the protocol. So you've got the right address and the right apartment number, but if you and the person inside don't speak the same language, well, you can't communicate. A protocol is just that. A shared language, a strict set of rules that makes sure data is sent, received, and understood correctly on both ends.
And this is a perfect example of a protocol difference in action. For years, the web ran on HTTP. It worked, but it's kind of like sending a postcard. Anyone along the delivery route can read your message. HTTPS is the modern standard. It's like sending that same message in a sealed, locked box. It adds that critical layer of encryption. And in today's DevOps world, this isn't optional. Almost all your traffic has to be HTTPS, period.
And here's a little cheat sheet for you. You are going to see these port numbers everywhere. Port 443 for all that secure HTTPS web traffic, 22 for securely logging into a server using SSH, and maybe 3306 for talking to a MySQL database. Knowing these common ports is like having a secret decoder ring. It helps you understand what's happening on your network with just a quick glance.
Okay, so we've got our core 4. Now let's see how they actually play together in the real world. In this section, we're going to put all the pieces together and follow the journey of a single web request, from your browser all the way to a server and back again.
So here's the play-by-play. First, your browser asks DNS, our phone book, for the IP address. Once it has that address, it reaches out to the server's IP, specifically targeting port 443. Then, this really crucial step happens, the HTTPS handshake. It's this quick back and forth where the client and server agree on an encryption key, creating that secure private channel. And only then, once that channel is secure, is your actual request sent. The server does its thing and sends a response back. Every single one of these steps uses our core 4, and if any one of them fails, the whole connection breaks down.
So, how does all this apply to the modern cloud? Well, whether you're dealing with a simple virtual machine or a massive sprawling Kubernetes cluster, these same fundamental rules are always at play.
The single most important concept in cloud networking is this idea of public versus private. Just think of your public network as the front door of your business. It's open to the internet. Your private network, though, that's the secure inner sanctum. It's the back offices where your databases and other critical services talk to each other safely, completely hidden from the outside world.
And this leads to some critical, really non-negotiable security rules. First, always, and I mean always, keep your sensitive stuff, like databases, tucked away in a private network. Never ever expose them directly to the internet. Second, your main public-facing component should almost always be a load balancer, which then securely routes traffic internally. And finally, you gotta use firewalls to lock things down. Only open the specific ports you absolutely need, to the specific sources that need them.
And hey, when you get to something as complex as Kubernetes, don't let it intimidate you, because underneath all those layers of abstraction, all the services, ingresses, and pods, it is all still built on the exact same principles we've been talking about. Everything still has an IP, it communicates over ports, it uses DNS, and it speaks a protocol. The fundamentals always apply.
All right, let's get to the most practical part. We've gone through the theory, now let's talk about the tools. When that outage inevitably happens, what do you actually do? This is your first response toolkit.
These simple little command line tools are your absolute best friends during an incident. They let you methodically test each link in that communication chain we just walked through, helping you zero in on the problem, whether it's on your machine or all the way over on the server.
So here's your detectives kit. Instead of just guessing, you start asking questions. Use ping to ask, hey server, are you even reachable? Use NSLookup to ask, is DNS giving me the right address? Curl is amazing for asking, is the web service actually up and responding correctly? Then SS helps you answer, what ports is my server even listening on? And traceroute literally shows you the exact path your data is taking. I'm telling you, master these 5 commands and you are already way ahead of the game.
To wrap this all up, I really love this metaphor. If your servers are the organs and your applications are the brains, then networking truly is the circulatory system. It's the essential layer that carries the lifeblood, the data, between all the different parts, keeping the whole system healthy and alive. And just like a doctor checks a pulse, your networking tools let you check the health of your system at its most fundamental level.
And that's really the key takeaway here. This isn't about becoming a network guru overnight. It's about mastering these basics, the core 4, the flow of a connection, and your debugging toolkit. Because once you understand the backbone, you gain real, tangible control over the complex systems you build every day. You're no longer just managing services, you're understanding how they truly connect,